speech on Medicaid funding and how a society is remembered for how it treats the less fortunate, that I will tell you that there are many veteran members that could not have given a finer speech. And we were all, there was a hush that fell on the House of Delegates when he gave that. And you have sent us a tremendous delegate in Patrick Cope, and it is a privilege, sir, to serve with you. ¿Dónde está Jaime? ¿Dónde está? Sí. Por favor, muchas gracias. Jaime Arrascaga Soto has just been elected the Vice President of the Democratic Latinos of Virginia. Esta es una persona muy importante en Virginia, ¿verdad? Sí. But the Latino population of Virginia is going to be a significant force in Virginia for many years to come. And the last person I want to recognize who's here tonight is your Congressman, Jim Moran. If I had Jim Moran's hair, I'd be governor. His hair is insured by Lloyd's of London. But actually, Jim's younger brother, Brian was my best friend in the legislature. And he and I were such great friends, and I miss him so much. And I have such a fondness for Jim through Brian, and he is such a great Congressman for you, and I can't imagine how much worse the U.S. Congress would be if you do not re-elect him. So please, for those of us that don't live in this district, please help us by sending Jim Moran back to the U.S. House of Representatives. All right, they told me 10 minutes. I might trespass over that a little bit. I was on Rachel Maddow 2 weeks ago. Kind of, sort of. Let me tell you what happened. Ken Cuccinelli, the gift that keeps on giving, the issue of du jour of the week for Ken Cuccinelli that week, this was about 2 weeks ago, was his taking the $55,000 from this guy that set up this sham charitable operation for Navy veterans. And everybody else in the Commonwealth had given the money back, the governor, the speaker, and everybody, except for Ken Cuccinelli, who he didn't get $2,500 or $5,000, he got $55,000. So Rachel Maddow calls our office up and says, we're doing a segment on that, would you be on? Well, let me see if we're doing anything. Okay, sure. Can you get to the NBC affiliate in Roanoke? It's an hour away from me. Yeah, we'll try that. And so they call back a little bit later, and I learned a lot about how the networks operate. When you go to an affiliate, they don't supply a camera crew. Rachel Maddow has to get her own camera crew. What the affiliate provides is a satellite. And so they couldn't get the camera crew there in time, and so they said, well, can you go to Lynchburg? We get a camera crew to Lynchburg. That's 2 hours away. Okay, we'll send the camera crew to you. Perfect. So they're going to come to my law office in Martinsville, and Rachel comes on at 9. My segment's on at 9:30. At 8:30, the camera crew shows up. And they take about 45 minutes to set up, and I'm sitting there in the chair, and they're putting up the cleave lights and putting the earpiece in the ear, and I'm Brian Williams. And about 9:15, 15 minutes before airtime, the satellite truck shows up. And I'm saying, guys, the camera crew, we're going on in 15 minutes. Has he got enough time? Oh, not a problem. We hang the cord, it puts the satellite up. Perfect. At 9:25, I see the satellite truck start up and go 50 yards up the street. what's going on? They go out and say, we can't get a signal. I said, there is no building in the city of Martinsville higher than 2 stories. What is the problem? No problem, we'll be fine. At 9:28, these guys are on the cell phone, New York calls. We need the landline number to call in. Couldn't get a satellite signal, so I do it over the telephone with Rachel Maddow. My network debut. Although she apologized for not having on, I said, well, Rachel, you can't see me, but I have a face for radio, so probably it's fine. But no, it was important, though, for us to talk about King Cuccinelli, and this segues, I think, into the remarks and the thoughts that I want to leave you tonight. I understand that there are 2 parties in this state, and there's a divergent viewpoint. But you know, and I also understand that we in the House of Delegates are in the minority. And that's very daunting some days. When we walk in, when Bob and Patrick and Adam and I walk into the House of Delegates every day, we know that if the majority party wants to pass something, they have the votes to do that. If they want to kill something, they have the votes to do that as well. But it is absolutely imperative that those of us that are in the minority party do not sit back and allow these bills to be passed or these policies to be adopted when we know they are wrong, when we know they are misguided, and not object. It is our obligation to do that. And whether we're talking about the basic rights for everyone to work and not be discriminated against on the job, or whether it has to do with taking money from someone that we shouldn't take money from, or all of the various policies that are there. It is important that we as Democrats say, this is what we stand for. And thank goodness that there are some adults in the room. And in Washington, the same thing with Jim. Thank goodness that there are adults in the room who will say, yes, we need health care reform in this country. And yes, we still believe in economic opportunity and so forth. Here we go. So I would say to you in closing that we will continue the good fight, whether we're in the minority or one day we on the House side, like the Senate, obtain the majority. But I hope at the end of the day that you will never, ever be embarrassed over us and the job that we attempt to do. It is a daunting task. It is one that is not a lot of fun on a lot of occasions. But it is too important for Virginia to head down the wrong path. I happen to believe that our best days are still in front of us. My district, the headline in the paper last week was unemployment is down to 21%. We have been victims of the demise of the textile industry and the furniture industry, and I know that it almost seems foreign to you here that we would have those struggles, but there are struggles all over this state. And here, the struggles in terms of transportation, we are on the cusp of harming higher education in this state if we do not begin to adequately fund it. There are so many problems. But I have a personal belief that if we, like Ben Franklin said, if we hang together, and most assuredly we'll hang separately if we don't, that we will again return to that vision that Democrats so closely hold. It is a delight to be with you. I love to travel this state. It is a wonderful state, and I love to be with Democrats. Thank you for letting us bring out